Hello, hello. So I'm trying something different today. I tried to raise the quality of the video, try to see if I can stream at 60 FPS. I hope that I can. Boy, this is actually. I just realized something about the camera. Also, yeah, maybe it's not a good idea to do this change. So I think I'm gonna lower it again to 30 FPS. Done. Yeah, because as much as I would like to stream proudly, it doesn't seem like it's actually showing correctly on the page. So that could be an issue, and I don't want that. I hope that this actually is something that you like today. For now, the camera is focusing. There's a lot of stuff that I still have not learned to do in my first immediate time that I'm streaming. So, okay, so first, this thing has to go there, is much better. And the autofocus is making it DC, so there it is. As you know, this is actually just going to be this little camera is going to be the corner. It's not actually going to be too much. And the other thing is that the zoom should be here. Maybe too much. I don't think that I should be making this test right now. Do you think so? Sorry guys, I haven't gotten used to this yet. For now, how about you just start playing? Last time we were playing this, we started interviewing many memo on the situation that was going on with why did the victim, Giselle Brett, have the pen. And I'm really sure that the pen has poison, to be quite honest. Let's see if that is the case. I want to finish this one today as early as possible, considering that it's late. For now, shall we go? Let's go. Also, I had to make a lot of voices, so I'll try to do this as good as possible. Last time we stopped this, we were about to go into a new testimony. Let's go. And this guy, I was actually named Raiten Many Memo. So yeah, I was actually right. Many Memo. And okay, so he is one explosive guy. Got it.
I asked the English woman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching seconds from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witness come running. The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this rather man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why many memoirs. Oh my god. Which is why many memoirs. I should. Yeah, I hope that this actually helps my computer to actually stream better. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why many memoirs demands I revealed no!
So he brought Soseki without actually explaining why. Hey Chicho, how you doing today?
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness? And when she did, you decided to ask her a question?
That's... Hi Chicho. So, what you gonna eat? The crab from yesterday? Because that sounds delicious.
That's, true, yes.
He did, and that's not all. The woman gave him a very definitive answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
This is preposterous! Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you digital hack? It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose her whether in English was a question. I don't deny it. But she could no longer speak. She was barely conscious even.
Counsel for the defense. Wait. Counsel for the defense. I expect a thorough examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Oh, that's right, I have to make a female boss. Absolutely, Your Excellency. The report is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Grace somehow? What on earth could have happened in that hut? I really want to try your dishes later because that sounds absolutely cool. I asked the English one for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. You asked her for an interview, you say?
Well, of course I did. I wanted to ask her about the incident she was involved in at the end of last year.
About the case in which Dr. John H. Wilson lost his life.
That's not the way I phrase it. Minimalism calls for straight talking. Why did you murder Dr. Wilson? Is how I put it to her.
Yes, that sort of talking is as straight as a ruler.
Ask every question as if you're asking for a menu in a restaurant. I say it's the best way. Better than the newspaper told me that.
And how did Miss Brett answer?
With one simple phrase. Mister is a woman's charm. Whew, that told me, so I waltzed right out of there.
Really? Something about that doesn't quite seem to fit together.
Leave every room as if you're waltzing in a dance hall. I say it's the best way. Every end of the paper told me that. Then, watching circles from outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running.
Oops, I forgot to press. I get so much into voicing these characters. That was very persistent of you, considering that Miss Brett had just turned you away.
Persistence wins prize!
God!
Many memoistas will tell you that. Let them think you've left. Just when they lower the guard, that's when you swoop in for the scoop!
And the fruits of your labor are also apparent in this telling photograph. I'm sure the young Jockle student would rather not be reminded of this damning evidence.
Actually, it's thanks to that photograph that we managed to identify this witness.
And now that you've found me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I've got nothing to hide.
I'm sure.
Please do go ahead, witness. The crowd is eager to hear what you have to say.
Try to stop me! There's a story to tell here, and I'm going to tell it.
I like the fact that every single player that does this game knows that Pain has to have a nasal voice.
The detective realized that the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help.
And Soseki-san remained behind in the hut?
That's right, yep. Our other friend here was a blubbering wreck, shaking lubber from his head to his toes, mustache twitching, eyes bulging.
Wait, that's pretty much how he is right now anyway.
What did you expect? You do not know the terrifying troubles that taunted me while traveling abroad. Back behind barefoot bars. They'll be coming for me, surely.
Oh my god, that's right.
That's all I could think. I felt as though I was gasping for air, drowning in a sea of cold sweat.
Poor Soseki-san. His experiences in London have scarred him deeply.
As the walls seemed to close in around me, I quietly recited a prayer to Amida Buddha.
Oh wow.
Eternal, emptiness, empty, eternity! The end is coming for me, surely! No suitors are to resound in my courtroom, please. And now we come to the crucial part. That's when it happened. That's when this writer here asked the woman a very significant question.
Hold it!
I wonder if this is the part where we're going to get this. What question? What exactly did he say?
Well now, you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Redderman?
Ah! Out with it, Jockle. What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying English woman?
Well, in truth, I've been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the central sea. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man. But then all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, young girls panic stricken cries for help pierce the air.
Ray!
I ran up the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Hosonaga saw me spread on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead English woman.
Whoa.
I nearly jumped out of my skin.
Wait, she was alive? But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I asked her, who did this to you?
So that's the new name that you picked for this. You know, Billy. Billy Net. That actually, it's so fitting for you, to be quite honest. And I'm actually happy that you didn't see me lose yesterday. I lost the case yesterday.
Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond? She didn't. She said nothing in response. When in the stand, you will answer the question asked of you unambiguously.
Oh, that's right, I haven't upgraded. You actually told me about this. I need to actually sit down and do all of that.
When in the stand, you will answer the question asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence.
Adric, how do you pronounce this? Sorry, Billy, how do you pronounce this? Reticence? Reticence?
Without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will! I asked her, who did this to you? But she never replied.
Hold it!
So you tried to find who the culprit was?
He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind.
Wait, twice?
Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever!
Reticence. Reticence. Okay.
However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond. Is that correct? I know why. I know why the English woman said nothing. She was ignoring me because of my stupid mustache because I'm Japanese!
Dude, she was dead. Oh dear. Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems.
Having read the report on his time in Great Britain, I can say I'm surprised at his xenophobia. But the English woman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Redderman? Well, yes. Alright, she did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. She just lifted a trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant.
Hold it!
Wait, really? Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant? Soseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the English woman was sprawled on the floor before us. The student girl is standing on the far side of her. And when I asked who did this to you, the English woman summoned her last ounce of strength to point a trembling finger at the back of the hut. Which was, it can be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
She doesn't know. She just knows one thing and one thing only. That. No!
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? Fiddlestick, I say!
This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese.
Oh, okay, so basically that was English.
Yes, of course. The Englishwoman did point her finger towards the back of the hut, but I was trembling, and she was trembling, and everything was a blur. I'm thinking about it. Let's thought perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no! Not slightly! In a very different direction to where the stunning girl was standing! Just somewhere at the back of the hut, where nobody was standing at all!
You mean that your memory of events and the direction of which the victim was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it! Unclear! I'm very unclear!
Objection!
Your Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious. Yes! Perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court can see, there was no other one other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing. It is now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could possibly have committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial.
No! No!
The headless right in itself. Dashing Lawyers Hope's Dash. 92 points across the whole page. We'll do an extra edition.
This is a serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substance or claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Impossible through the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gave us her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. Oh my god. The English woman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back, in a beach hut that was empty but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add.
So, the gallant jokel student looks finally runs out. I can say I'm impressed. I'm surprised.
In that case, I'm ready to deliver my final verdict on this matter.
It's a crucial turning point now. If we can establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim? I know how.
Objection!
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone your adjudication for the time being.
Oh? To what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
Objection!
An alternative theory? Ha! None exists!
Objection!
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time. By mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction.
This is fiction! Fantasy! A final fantasy, would you mind?
Bad joke.
Very well. As you seem to so sure of yourself, counsel, I am prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, John Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Oh, right. It was not that bad, was it? Yes, Your Excellency?
You will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan.
At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing the culprit was concealed?
That's easy. He was outside.
Take that!
Naruhodo-san would never give up. And I'm a Naruhodo now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Bread was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, Counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut?
What?
Oh, order, order, order! But student lawyer Naruhodo Squire! That makes no sense at all!
You've just pointed out that sex spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap. But I didn't see any suspicious individual loitering about, I can swear to that.
Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there is no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Actually, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way. And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting that is precisely the way Miss Bread was killed.
You're bluffing! You're bluffing, you joker!
The defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, Counsel.
It really is that hard to believe?
What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
I don't know if I want to show the method or just the fact that there's a hole over here. Yeah.
Take that!
The original photographic print of the crime scene?
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Objection!
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing!
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone at least appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where in this photograph is the trace of the stabbing, which you claim took place from outside the hut?
I mean, it's right here. Right. A bit to the left. There it is. There.
Take that!
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effect of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No! I can't see any such thing!
It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds, a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary!
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the pitch hut. And of everyone present at the scene, there is only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Bread was killed. Written many memos-san. It could only have been you.
No!
Objection!
This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photograph again. The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume as part of this farcical scenario that the assailant was a knife thrower?
Objection!
I mean, she was sitting down. No, of course not.
We're not?
If you recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death, many murderer. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Bread, but she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me, as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. Many murderer, that's amazing. The slit in the read screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on the stool.
My word! So in fact, the victim was
killed while still sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the red screen. Having been attacked, Miss Bread rose to her feet instinctively, but then, unable to speak, She collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut, before defendant Membami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day. Many murderer, you gonna say something? By your silence, Many Memo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge.
This is absurd!
That will do. It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime.
Whoa! Wait, what? We have the judge on our side? That's so rare. Thank goodness. I finally made him cave.
I must say, I've never been more proud.
No, this can't be. The Ochi clan can't. What of my growth? My growth of hope? It was an elaboration. I cannot accept this. I want.
I see no reason for the continuance of this trial. I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final verdict. Okay. Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Suppressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals.
We've established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut, through the reed screen walls.
And no one but you was in a place at a time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. It's a perfectly logical deduction. So your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the English woman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now.
Wait, what? Irrelevant?
Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed. It doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. After all, this trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else.
That's a new pose.
Sasaki seems so nervous.
What are you talking about?
Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up.
I don't know, Alexis. I really don't know. What?
Enough obscurity. Explain yourself with this. What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course.
The poison?
Let's ask the professor for a comment on the situation, shall we?
Oh, that's right.
I understand that the deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that this poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right?
That is correct. The initial constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see, I see. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed?
Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, the poison could not have circulated in her blood. Oh, that's a good point. I'm starting to wonder how the knife goes into this. She was still alive. Wait, was she still alive?
How refreshing to hear the argument from a metropolitan mind. Precisely! It matters not a judge who stabbed whom in whose back and with whose blade. Because quite simply, the English woman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Yeah, basically, but I mean...
Objection!
But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already...
Objection!
Oh, but there's no poison in the blade.
Forgotten already, have we, Joker? During the very proceedings, the laboratory of the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim. No trace of poison in it whatsoever.
It's just that the timing of the poisoning and the stabbing, it's way too specific. That's why I'm so confused about this.
So let me get this down. The facts, as skillfully established by the defense in this trial, turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right?
You know, I actually hadn't considered this, Billy, but you may be right. I mean, she was about to go to Shanghai in order to be judged because of the crime that she made a year ago. So, and she actually died the day before this. You may be right that the victim and the killer might be in cahoots. But why?
Is that about right?
Well,
Order, order, order!
but where does this leave us? How in that case did the poison enter the victim's body? There is an undeniable, obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it. You mean she drank it? Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water and a glass have been knocked into the sandy floor of the beach hut. The poison could have been slipped into either. So somebody made Miss Brett drink it.
Well, what do you know? Look at those station eyes! This will make a great front page shot! Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Hold it!
Established? What are you talking about? Oh boy, let me start telling you about the multiple times that the Ace Attorney has been talking about how grape juice is relaxing. Established? What are you talking about?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe given that the person who established it was you!
What on earth does he mean?
Oh, let me capture those wet eyes! This is a prime first fodder, this is!
It would seem that this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony.
That's great, that is! Let me get a shot of that magnificent beard, Your Excellency!
You claim it to be impossible. You were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim.
I'm a journal, and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life.
Oh my god.
And I'm not about to start now, because that's many memoism.
Oh my god, that name is horrible. Yeah, he still stabbed her. I have the feeling that at the end of the day, well, I wonder what it was the old laws about affecting a cadaver. For a brief moment I thought I'd illuminated the truth, but it slid right back into obscurity again. Just where's this trial going to take us? You're right, he still stabbed her. So what's going to happen from here? Complete innocence? Of course not. What? That proves you innocent?
Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman! And it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I have bothered to stab the woman if I had already poisoned her?
Yes, I don't know. I mean, what?
When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer Aryan, it got my goat. If the courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did, someone else would have to see justice done.
That's still not something you should have done. So you admitted then that everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the read screen. Read, read, read.
You can blame this miserable country of ours. A country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it! I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do! Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back, I pushed the bayonet of sweet justice right in there.
Whoa. Whoa, he is insane.
As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false testimony in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me.
I don't lie or run. I lie all the way through.
That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little stunning girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart.
You're implicating Ray again.
She's the one who gave the poison to the English woman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap! This journal here is off the hook.
The argument is sound, certainly. It is? If the witness had administered the poison himself, he need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently, stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical.
And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical.
She still stabbed her!
That's right, it is. Logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. Justice at last!
This is unbelievable. And after I've made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? Susato. Think of Kazuma-san and Naruhodo-san. They never stop looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Yes, Your Excellency. I stabbed her, therefore I'm innocent. That is absolutely insane.
Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman, blah blah blah.
So you do admit that you had murderous intention towards Miss Red, then?
Huh! The one's very existence offended my sense of justice!
Your sense of? He's claiming some sort of righteous indignation?
She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who committed murder right here on our Empire's soul. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance! So I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice! Put things right for the people! Yes, it was my civic duty! That's what drove me to do it!
So, in summary, murderous intentions then?
Whatever you want to call it, the point is this. That English woman was a blight! So I had to do what was right for society.
She was a blight, but that is not your call.
Yeah, the real wrong was done by the stunning little dog, a crime for which she must pay.
Obviously, because the poisoning was nothing to do with me at all. Because why would I have bothered to stop the woman if I'd already poisoned her?
Hold it!
So you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim?
Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing braces like this.
The accused administered the poison, following which this witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulder.
Oh my god. The classic, I'm gonna take the lesser crime so that I can escape the bigger one.
That is how the law works, you see. Jokel? Who knows, you may even learn something here today.
Two consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim.
Do something that evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works, the law of reckoning.
That's not the kind of law this court upholds. You will reiterate why you were compelled to stop the victim then, witness.
When I heard the student girl and the boy put pompous English woman arguing, it got my goat.
What exactly were they arguing about?
About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago. That's what. The student girl was lying to the English woman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson.
I have no idea. At this, para este punto, Chicho, I think that I've counted like 12 pencils? Yes, John H. Wilson, a professor of medicine, invited here from England by Professor Mikotova, no less.
Right, but the English woman just jeered.
Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai. However, there is little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland as a free woman.
It was sitting that certain girl up inside. You could see it. I really felt for her.
What just happened? Ray!
I can't! I can't stay here and listen to this tripe! Ray!
Young girl, just stand the kiss here. You can just blurt out whenever you feel like it.
No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen.
But this is awful, man. He's making all of this up. Susato, please, you have to make them listen.
Return to the dock at once, Membami-san. We are in the middle of a cross-examination.
Hold it!
Your Excellency, please, I implore you. The journalist is clearly not a trustworthy testimony. Trustworthy witness. Exactly, he's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted pig of the dirty great Pippin Tom.
Pippin Tom, that's right.
Whoa, take it easy there.
Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accuser's remark.
I will grant the request of the defense. I love this judge! Oh my god! Ever since the first game, I've loved this judge. He's smart. He actually listens. Oh boy, after spending so much time with the judge of Ace Attorney, the original one, the judge does whatever he wants.
But Your Excellency!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defense and solve his concerns. So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison.
Hold it!
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? I suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson.
That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed by the government? Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Last time, I was sure that the poison was here, and that was the reason why the pen was empty. And this pen is clearly written many memo pen. It even has his symbol. But it was in her hand. And the poison is supposedly being very difficult to steal, but the one that had access to it was her. So my thought process is, she steals the poison for him, and yeah, that's why he has ink in his hand. That's pretty sure of that. But was this a betrayal? Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or their colleague, getting the poison out would be very, very difficult. That's true. I pestered Professor Mikatama until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But his lifelike was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we'd been developing, you see. And since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was extremely potent substance.
I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison.
Really?
I wanted to look my own enemy in the eye! Surely you can understand that!
You have experience with poison? Okay, now I'm starting to wonder. I've seen you in one case, not two. To find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government even. It would be a complete disaster.
And how did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually.
Yes. Many Memo-san, one small question if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Can you see I'm busy?
Clearly, you were outside the beach hut, listening in while the defendant and the Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably then, it was you who wrote this article about what you've heard? Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Jumei Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoujo News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else.
Sorry, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yes! Look at this! The entire article! It's almost what I said to Miss Brett word for word! Well, Many Memo-san?
As a journal and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of many memoism.
Father's clearly right about this. Dad reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. So that's what it was all about. You were listening to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's where you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Shut up! My stories never stink! Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I want it to go on record.
Very well. You may amend your formal testimony.
The point is, if you'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well.
Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die.
That's horse done.
What?
That would be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you even taste it. Completely reckless. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetus pourer as it happens.
Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to be a good reason for that.
If it was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly he must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut.
Yes, that's undeniable.
But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there was one very crucial change in the situation.
Sorry? What changed?
The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the English woman.
Yes, that's it! That's when Minimemo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. That could be the key here.
If the victim had unwittingly taken the poison already, the reporter would have had no reason to stop her. On the face of it, the logic sounds entirely reasonable.
But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder.
If we could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might stab her even after the poisoning, I feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for.
Yes, I agree. And in order to do that, I must try to glean more information.
following a lecture at Yume, a very disturbing a deadly poison being secretly stolen. Okay? With the smallest amount entering the body, either via the mouth or via the wound from a poison-laced blade, would prevent minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed chemical. The university would have to be consulted. One set of symptoms occurs starting with impaired breathing and ending with acute contraction of the pupils prior to death. It's apparently entirely new and synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. It's one of these two. I'm gonna put the article.
Objection!
Well, I can think of one reason.
What?
But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut?
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. I've just realized that some of these are actually not about what something that could have been told over there. Or maybe? Maybe he preferred being labeled a murderer over spying on the government? Did you glean all that information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut?
Of course he did. There can be no question of that. After all, when we were all in the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a terrible toxin.
And there is one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membami-san, a verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection!
Where are you going with this, counsel?
Memo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it.
Which means that Miss Brett could have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put.
When I went into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Memo-san overheard some warning information.
Warning information? What warning information?
The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article, namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
Hee-haw? Absolutely. Oh, hee-haw! In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could come from is my lab.
And furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs of death. The extreme constriction of the pupils. Yes.
Oh my god. Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw. Oh my god, who loves like this in One Piece? Oh my god, I cannot remember. Shoot, you're gonna have to tell me, Chicho. Me vas a tener que decir, no me acuerdo.
That's extreme. Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There are other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison.
Oh my god, really? Ivankov loves like that? I did not remember that. I get it. It would completely trace up to him and to his pen.
By the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people.
Ah!
Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Membami-san being no exception.
Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson, unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you, Rate and Many Memo? It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. In the future, Chicho, remember, this game is in the Meiji era. And it was you who administered it to the winning victim. But you quickly realized that that was a terrible mistake. Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceful. As you're listening from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learned of this fact. But you're already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. No, she's just well, she's actually an accused, so maybe? No, she's a new character from the second game. I think that she may be just an old friend from Susato. So you hatch a plan to disguise your mistake. As a matter of fact, Susato, which is right now the Ryutaro here, may be more the Maya of the game. Because after all, she is the female partner of Naruhodo-san, the main character, Ryunosuke. She is playing as a man, as you remember, but she may be the Maya. So you hatch a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involves stabbing the victim in the back through the read screen.
Objection!
But what good could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Fred before the poison could take effect.
Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he?
Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would ever have suspected.
This is extraordinary.
Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use, which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back.
Order! The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied with whether it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument that it wishes to put forward?
Well, there are a number of, yes, I got her completely.
Objection!
The prosecution's basic response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnant of his top note, he is clinging to his lust.
Oh. Dang, girl!
What's up?
They're gonna talk about how to get poison, and I know where it is. He's mad.
You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai!
Fallen? Who you calling fallen? My burgeoning girl is in
I don't need a counter-argument!
What are you talking about?
It should be blatantly obvious! I stole the poison, you say? Gave it to the victim, you say? Stop here, you say? Lots of fine theories. But I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news in facts. Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all in here, in my many memos, every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the show you knows is famous for, is the power of the printed word.
But surely it would be no easy task to steal a hydrate toxin being developed by the government? Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague. Getting the poison out would be very difficult. Yeah, I knew that they were gonna talk about that. But if he actually hated her that much, would they have cooperated for the poison? It's clear that the poison is in the pan, but how?
How's that then? Blown the story wide open? See, I written many memo, a me reporter from the Shoyu News. Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory.
Ah! There can be no question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. And if that's the case, as you've identified, the poison itself is the definite evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here.
What's your point, you annoying handsome country bumpkin?
My point is this. There is one way that you, Memo-san, could have stolen the poison that day.
I have heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must show is evident. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question?
The fountain pen.
Take that!
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen.
A fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters.
Oh, that's right. They actually talk about this in the other game.
I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now.
Bah! I swear by a whistle hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad.
Well, as a forward thinking man, of course, I love my fountain pen. Suck up a subcon of Santos ink and one's word gets a wash from you, with words in the blink of an eye.
That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later.
What does all this talking of sucking up ink have?
Subson.
And just as it's possible to suck ink up into the reservoir, it's also possible to eject her to the nib again, of course.
My word. Can this really be?
Well, Memo-san? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you?
You were right, Billy. You were right.
He has ink in his hand because he expelled it in order to make space. By siphoning the poison through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
Objection!
More absurdity! That never happened!
True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places?
No, I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed research would not have been conducted.
Well, this is quite a startling, I must say.
I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Memo-san. So the crucial question is, when exactly was this pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act while the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen in after you emptied the poison from it into her glass.
Objection!
There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details in his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
Objection!
No. That can be it. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink?
Actually, that's why I have the chemical reagent. We're gonna test it.
What?
As you can see for yourself if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Witness, what do you have to say in your defense?
So this is how modern justice system works, is it? So what if the ink in my pens runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps?
Whoa! Wolverine much?
I can always claw my back into the game. I have plenty in reserve.
Whoa!
You claim I sucked the poison up into my pen? That's well the speculation, nothing else.
You actually mentioned that he had way too many pencils. I did not expect him to react like that. That is actually surprising me.
If you thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that, think again!
It looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. It rests upon That is it. And you say that my puns are bad, Billy. It rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison under the inquest. And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can... God.
He really is leading us in with it. This guy is quite sharp.
And therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence.
No such evidence could possibly exist.
Objection!
Many Memo-san. This is how our murder justice system works.
What?
In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then, I call upon the defense to present their formation evidence.
This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle. The defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison.
Take that!
Counsel, what is the bottle?
This bottle contains a unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question.
Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method.
Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
A reagent? What?
One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Manny Memo-san, is all it will take to solve this game beyond all reasonable doubt.
No, you can't. I won't.
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out a test on the fountain pen at once.
Whoa! This isn't my fault! Then I drop into this! Try to hold his kind of civilization, but when it's not every foreign nation, look at the officer, mighty pin and fountain, there's a battle with George Island, and Johnson, right now, many memos, many
Susato, with me! I'm there!
I did not expect this at all!
Did I do it right? That was a Susato takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown.
I did not expect that. Thank God, I love that.
The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
When I saw it there in the lab, the poison, the devil got hold of me and I decided to do it in a whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink, the sink, and the bathroom, washing the reservoir carefully.
And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen.
Yes, that's right.
Answer me one thing, Manny Memo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose?
Isn't it obvious? To find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up.
Then why did the English woman end up dead?
I went into that hall intending to quiz her on her situation, that's all. As a reporter. A known killer, enjoying full freedom, even injustice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face!
Oh, what's this? Of our Eastern caveman, purporting to practice journalism. Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening outdoors, you ignorant plebeian.
What did you call me?
This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. You see your superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf! Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from.
That's when I remembered about the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time.
What a terrible tale.
In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quick as possible, but I couldn't! I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose it was my journal spirit, getting all fired up.
You're just a murderer. It really was not your place, you moron.
I'd like to ask you something.
Yes?
You often talk about justice.
But surely as a journalist you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought.
There's no justice in the press.
Sorry?
After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find what had happened in that courtroom. And finally I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up! That's what it was!
A cover-up? What do you mean?
Wait, what?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful what you say.
Oh, come on! Doesn't it strike you strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national! Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it!
Yes, I know that.
And yet that buff English woman was going to sail away into the sunset, a free woman! The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes, some deal had gone between Britain and Japan.
What sort of deal?
I'd done my research, took up all the dirt, it was all ready to be published. But you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up!
He came under pressure from the government, you mean?
If our government is going to let criminals walk free, if they're going to crush the free press, then what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself?
Let's not forget, Memo-san, that you committed murder yourself and you tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all.
I suppose.
It would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Ryotaro Naruto.
Oh. Yes. Sorry, Your Excellency. Just missing in a manly way here.
It's almost unbelievable that this is your first experience of the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Naruto? Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago, and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
That's very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice systems will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Thank you.
Okay. So, Prosecutor Auchi, Do you have any final thoughts?
Wait. Oh my god.
He's gonna kill himself?
Prosecutor Ouchie?
I, Takatsuchi of the Ouchi clan, have been bested by a hollow youth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it has withered and died here today.
Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence! Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade.
What? Seppuku?
For that is the true path to our chism!
Ouchism?
One hopes that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after witness.
Sprig of my top knot, the time is right for farewell. Hope is lost for forever. Takatsuchi. You're getting rid of the poop.
God. Is everybody praying for his freaking hair?
Now, in regard to the defender and Mei Membami-san.
Yes, Your Excellency?
I have reached my final verdict. I hereby found you.
Not guilty! Woo!
Court is adjourned.
PM. It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. It's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. To bear, don't they, Naruhodo-san? Susato! Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. Ray, and Father. Honestly, I'm so touched for everything you... Oh no, I think I'm going to cry. It wasn't easy, but together we made it. It was on the verge of tears at the end too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So, I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you. Susato, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals, and the trial's over. So no more of this formal super humility nonsense. It's time to celebrate with Saga, to throw caution into the wind. Caution to the... what? I'm the great defense lawyer, Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to my milk bar tomorrow. Or something? Right, I see.
She really woke up to something she didn't expect.
Think about it, Ray. At any rate, I really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying. It really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together?
No! I hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh my goodness, no, of course not, of course not! There it is at last. Ray's lovely smile.
fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba for now. So I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame.
She really woke up to something in here.
What is happening?
Ah, Soseki-san and Inspector Kusunaga. I do hope you've been keeping well.
Is that really you?
Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope. But it's me, Susato Mikotoba.
I don't.
So Dash!
So divine. No! Doubly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you. I had no idea, Miss Susato Squires, that you were Locum to the Naruhodo-san Squire cousin. Oh my god. Astonishing, astounding, oh, it's authority!
Oh, he said it.
Poor Soseki-san. So confused. I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. But after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense of the Old Bailey, Soseki-san was free to return to Japan. And now, he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author.
He may as well be. But to tell the truth, according to what I understand, Soseki-san is actually based on a real person, Billy.
I'm stunned. That's truly impressive disguise.
I cannot check the car record, but Soseki is actually a real author from Japan that did live in England and hated it and wrote the books that this guy did. So this is actually just a real human being adapted to Ace Attorney.
I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea. And I'm a chief inspector of the police bureau who came up with the Mr. Turtle, no less.
I'm not sure you should be admitted to that, Inspector.
Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see.
Just two, really. And this was once in a lifetime event, I hope. I'm not a patch on youth, Inspector.
Well, I'm a professional, of course.
I do worry about Inspector Kusunaga sometimes. I really do. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey.
Oh boy.
But that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama?
From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about the murder that the English woman committed at the end of last year.
Ah, yes, it was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it.
Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally.
The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer.
On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. With Mr. Sherlock Holmes, the great detective, I mean.
Yes, I remember Mr. Holmes well, of course.
Ah, my arch-nemesis. How lightly do you utter his name?
Well, according to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes, a best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? I just can't believe that it's a coincidence. I think that the English doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago was having the friend and partner of Mr. Schultz. And if that's really true, then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again.
As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born.
Yes, grandmother told me about it.
On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Jumei University. But I also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
I wasn't.
In that
case, I'm sure you understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you.
Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan?
Why is he surprised?
It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan. It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever and you were growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from?
So it was a lie.
That's what I'd like to know, because after that long sea voyage I found you in fine health, father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way? Or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of.
Dear me. Do you accept your most cutting glares for your father, Susato? I'm sorry, my dear. I simply can't...
Let me go!
Many Memo-san! So, one throw wasn't enough for you.
I've got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor!
Me?
I know the truth. I knew you had a hand in what went on. Ain't that visiting student's fate?
Visiting student? You still bred, Jimmy?
No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago.
What student of law? He must mean... Kazuma-sama! What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama?
Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Ah!
Whoa! Judge? Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. What were the officers playing at?
Terrible sorry, Your Excellency.
The judge? I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Shunjin, and it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him, and I'll be there shortly. The judge now? What the heck? Oh, the judge knows! Yeah, that was way too convenient.
Oh, Your Excellency.
The trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro
Jigoku. Okay. And may I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more, dashing appearance. Susato?
Did you know all along? From the start of the trial?
A judge sees everything,
Susato. I couldn't let you take the risk if Seishiro here hadn't known and then he'd recognize you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend. So Seishiro, shall we? Yes, having rolled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address. The judge knows you're right.
Before you go, father!
Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. But well done again, both of you. You did admirable.
Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of my Seishiro snake, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Oh my god.
Whatever could father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brett, about Dr. Wilson, and now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with father sometime, when nobody else is around.
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba Esquire? Could I have a word?
Oh, yes, of course, Oseki-san. What is it?
I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now.
You see,
There's something I need to tell you.
Oh?
I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England.
This I have to hear. Please, Oseki-san, tell me at once.
I will!
As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness Locum student Naruto-san Squire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report.
My father?
He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan.
What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in.
I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in?
Two. I just remember one. Of course, I could never forget.
Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case.
The second one? You mean the one Mr. Scholz forbade us any of us to talk about in public?
Wait, what? What?
Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first.
Well, I don't care! I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says!
Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions.
That horrific, heinous case.
The case of the haunted lodgings.
Oh my god. What? There was a case in the middle of chapter 1?
That case somehow caused my father to summon me back to Japan? I thought that whole business was over. But it seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better how you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery.
I'm gonna say, I started hearing
My
him
notes
talking
on the
about two
case
cases
should
and I
still
was
be in
very,
the office, tucked
very
away at the
confused.
back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
Now I'm so curious about this. Just the sheer fact that there was a case that I didn't know about in the first story is incredibly cool. Oh, look, I got an achievement. In a way. And save. Okay, now that this has been done, let's return to the title screen and go into my facing camera. Where is my mouse? Where is my mouse? There it is. Okay, so I did not expect everything that happened just now.
I'm very surprised. I didn't know that there was a second case that involved Seki-san. So that means that he's spinning 3 cases instead of 2. I'm actually very nervous about what's going on. I have been having this question for almost a year right now, and I know that it took me a long time to pick up this game. But I actually started to take this one seriously, and I hope that I'll see you next time. For now, I think that it's time for me to say goodbye. And again, as usual, thank you guys. You always have been very cool with me, especially for coming and see me. I hope you enjoy the show. Take that.